It's airborne.
Writers and directors love imagining the viral apocalypse.
You get exposed at breakfast, you're dead by dinner. We're looking at a global pandemic.
During a real pandemic, movies like Contagion can feel less like a star-studded blockbuster and more like a prophecy.
Right now, our best defense has been social distancing. No handshaking, staying home when you're sick, washing your hands frequently.
But the creators of fictional pandemics weren't fortune tellers. They just did their research.
I actually find it really sad that what I end up getting on my Instagram is accusations of being a prophet or part of the Illuminati. Every expert that I spoke to always said the same thing to me, which was, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You can't believe the movie and not believe them.
We based World War Z pretty much at the time on the Ebola outbreak. In any great storytelling, you want to base part of the story in science and reality so it is emotionally grounded and the audience can connect with it.
In my book, the virus is all about, it's going to get you eventually. I started thinking about the virus a lot in the 80s during basically AIDS. And so I got really deep into the research on vaccines.
Even elements of the more outlandish pandemic films can feel eerily spot on.
You gotta isolate the sick, and I mean really isolate them, Billy. We gotta get everybody else back into their houses. We gotta keep them there.
The kind of combination of terror and boredom are exactly what I thought they were going to be.
There's a line in my book where I was talking about hoarding in the early stages of the apocalypse, and I was just searching for kind of the most ludicrous thing that people could hoard, and I came up with 250 bottles of shampoo. But then, this toilet paper thing has happened. It was a little eerie.
Well, I think Leftovers, it's entirely about grief. It is very similar in the way that this illness is so indiscriminate. So it feels very comparable. I was walking on a beach the other day and there was a chair sitting there and I just took that photograph of that's the leftovers. That's this moment.
He was smuggled right into that car seat. He was right here.
Probably the most important thing that I was conscious of when writing the script was the psychological impact of what had happened on the main character. I was really trying to put myself in the place of someone who was so alone.
Promise my friend I would say hello. Please say hello to me.
Probably my biggest concern right now is the psychological toll this might be taking on people, especially isolated people.
Of course, spending years crafting a pandemic doesn't quite prepare you for living through one.
I've been really struck by the difference in the fictional portrayal of streets during the pandemic and streets during this real pandemic. In fiction, they're all messy. There's things strewn around. And then when you see the videos coming out of places in France and in New York, it is so beautifully clean.
I thought that a common foe and the loss of American life would make people go to the experts and say, let's put our politics aside. The other part is the Jude Law character.
There are therapies we know are effective right now, like forsythia, and they don't even appear on the CDC website.
The CDC is exploring forsythia and other homeopathic treatments, but right now, there's no science to back any of these claims.
I didn't think that someone dealing in misinformation would be, in the office of president.
We have a drug called chloroquine. A derivation would be hydroxychloroquine, which I hear even better about. It showed very encouraging early results.
But the information that you're referring to specifically is anecdotal. It was not done in a controlled clinical trial, so you really can't make any definitive statement about it.
I think if I had suggested that to the executives at Warner Brothers, they would have said, no, that's going too far.
During lockdown, pandemic films are topping the streaming charts. Writers and directors have different theories on why that is.
No matter how sort of difficult or chilling or upsetting the narrative is, I think narrative does give experience shape, and it gives it meaning. And I think that those are two things that we are desperate for right now.
Maybe in a way it's saying, oh, well, things aren't so bad. There aren't zombies in the street. People aren't eating each other. People aren't killing each other for gasoline yet.
Maybe it gives people some hope that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that there will be survivors.
After all, even the most terrifying fictional pandemics have one luxury that the real world does not.
There isn't an ending. In a COVID-19 situation, there will be things that happen in an order and they will change, but that moment of catharsis and closure and putting it all behind us and rallying and watching the credits roll, we're never going to get that. That's what makes history different from fiction.